Hi, my name is Fiona Estifanos, and I go to York University. The major that I'm in is Children's Studies. And the reason why I chose Children's Studies as a major is because in my first year, I bounced around between program to program so many times, and none really felt right with me. But once I found Children's Studies, I found that it really brought together my love for children and my desire to help kids in my community. And in my program, we learned about how to create a platform for young voices, and especially the ones that often go unheard, as well as we gain a better understanding of how the experiences of children and their childhoods from different walks of life come together. We study childhoods, and we get to analyze their cultures through things like children's books and movies and clothing and their day-to-day life. It's honestly really fun and exciting to learn about something that I'm really passionate about, and it even introduced me to the job that I have today and I love, which is being a daycare teacher. So what can people expect in children's studies, and is graduate school required? Well, when people think of children's studies, they automatically think of becoming a teacher, and even though that's the goal for the majority of the people in my program, there are a lot of different career opportunities that a children's studies major can choose. You can go into social work, law, counseling, or even advocacy and help advocate for children who can't advocate for themselves. Graduate school is not required, but it is an option if you have something specific in mind that you wanted to specialize in. For me, I plan on going to graduate school after I finish to focus on research, because I later want to focus on and specialize in developing programs and support for children with learning disabilities, because that's something that I struggled with as a child. And this program is great because there are so many doors that are open for you when you finish, and there's no specific route that you have to take. It's very wide and full of possibilities. The biggest advice that I would give to youth moving forward is to trust your heart and your gut when you're making your decisions, whether it comes to choosing a program or your classes or switching your entire plan for the future. You have to trust that things will happen in time and that you are capable of making it happen. One of the biggest myths that me and majority of university students have had to debunk and figure out while in school is that you have to finish university in 4 years and work through the same plan that you have when you started. That is 100% not true, and sometimes can be harmful to the students that think like that. If I had continued in my original program and finished in the 4 years like everyone else said I had to, I would have been done by now, but completely unsure of what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And instead, I took my time, I did some research and found the perfect program for me, and even though it's taking me 5 years to do it, I've never been more sure of my decision and the future that I have for myself, and I'm really enjoying what I do now, not by force. So trust your gut and your heart and take your time. It's not a race, it's your life and no one else's. How do you take care of your mental health while doing school? Mental health is something that almost every student struggles with, no matter what program you're in. And it isn't supposed to scare you when I say that, but instead let you know that no one in university is alone. It's a huge transition from high school, where teachers can be lenient and nice and you have friends around you all the time. It can feel really lonely and intimidating. There are nice teachers and you do have your friends at times, but it is a very more independent feeling. When you're at university, things are really kind of up to you to get things done. And I've learned that by staying organized and productive and proactive with my work really helped me relieve a lot of the stress that I had because of my schoolwork. Procrastinating only ever made things worse in university. But even then, I still do it. We all do it. It happens. But just knowing that it's up to you to get yourself back on track and really keeping up with yourself really helps you release the stress that school can bring sometimes. The most important thing that I would say is to make sure that you make time for yourself and you relax and focus on your mental health no matter how you do it. For me, I like spending days watching Netflix, painting, or relaxing and hanging out with my friends, just so that the pressure of school doesn't get to me. Taking just even one day a week for me has really improved my headspace, and my grades have gotten so much better once I started taking care of my mental health. Your mental health has to come first in anything that you do, and the results will definitely show in your schoolwork and your overall life.
What's up, Nakfa family? My name is Rora, and I'm a third-year political science major at York University. So starting off with why I chose my major, I chose political science mainly because I've always had a keen interest in politics. Whether I seen it in the news or heard it around my family, I knew it was always surrounding me. Ever since I was super young, I realized the impact it had on our daily lives, as well as our life conditions, and how it's forever changing over periods of time. So with that being said, growing up, I didn't have that much knowledge on what politics was. It was just the fact that I always seen it. And the fact that I always seen it and I didn't know what it was caused me to be very interested in learning more. So the more I learned, the more I realized there's so much more to it. When I got into high school, I didn't have the chance of taking a politics course because my school did not offer it, but I took classes that were related, such as law and business. I felt like those helped me shape out the fact that I wanted to go into political science as a major. As well as the fact when taking law, I realized I had a true love for debate and persuasive writing and public speaking. So I thought that political science major would be the perfect fit for me to combine my love for business at the time as well as law, and putting me potentially in a position of power where I can impact the world in some type of way. Going on to what careers you can expect and if graduate school is required. Graduate school is not required for you to be a politician. If you guys actually look into multiple politicians, a lot of them don't have political science degrees even. They might have learned about it over time, or it's something that they might have picked up later on, or they might have minored in it, but a lot of them tend to be English majors, literature majors, things like that. Unless you want to do something that's law related, like international law, then you would want to get a law degree, because for you to be a lawyer, you would need that. But besides that, you wouldn't need graduate school. And in terms of careers, you could be an MP, you could be a premier, you could work in federal, provincial, municipal governments, or depending on how the system breakdown is in various countries, there's different terms. You could be an ambassador, a diplomat, work overseas, be a representative, be a delegate. Like, there's so many different things that you could possibly do with a political science degree, and those are just within politics itself. If you wanted to branch out to maybe business, you could focus on economics, obviously because countries run off of economies as well, and wealth. And then, like I said before, you could go into the law route as well. What was the biggest obstacle during the program and how did you overcome it? I feel like personally, I didn't have too many obstacles with politics, mainly because I was doing something that I actually enjoyed. So I feel like that kind of eased my mind a little bit. But one thing I will say was going from my last year of high school into my first year of university was extremely difficult, because the level of organization you have to have is a whole nother level. Like just remembering what your test dates were in high school is like, okay, you had one like maybe once a month, whatever. You can memorize the dates. You only have like 4 classes if you're semestered, or 8 classes if you're non-semestered. Like things like that. Like it was easier to remember off the top of your head. But university, that's a no. And especially if you're pursuing a political science degree, you can have 5 different papers due that are all 20 pages each on the same timeline, and you can't rely on your brain no more. Because you're thinking, oh, okay, I just finished this, and then you realize there's another one you didn't do, and then you do something last minute. So it affected me like my first semester, because it was just like, I was not ready for this. No one prepared me for this. So I feel like just my organization skills going into university, not that they were bad, but they weren't up to par for what a student in university should be at, if that makes sense. But yeah, how did I overcome it? I got a calendar in my room. I write down whatever events I need to remember, whether it be tests, exams, projects, anything like that, labs, because sometimes you might have to take a science course as an elective and things like that. Just general knowledge, like general things I should know for my program. I just keep up on my calendar, so whenever I'm leaving my room, I can see it and I know what's going on for my day. Best advice, like I said, organization. That's my best advice. Be organized, as well as try your best to be at every single class. I'm telling you, you miss one class, it's like you're missing a year's worth of lessons. Like, you come back the next day and it's just like, when did we get to this chapter? What happened? Like, you'll be so lost. You can fall behind so easily in university. It is not a joke. And at the end of the day, you're losing your money. So unless you have no reason to skip a class, like if you are ill, that is the only reason you should be out of class. But if you are fine, don't do it to go meet up with your friends or anything. Go to class. 'Cause at the end of the day, your pockets are hurting. Your money will be gone. Okay? Please go to your classes. Don't miss out. You will be behind. You will waste your money and you'll just be sad at the end. Like, it's just going to hurt you at the end. No one's going to be gaining out of that situation, including yourself. So please go to class. Okay? And how do you take care of your mental health? I'm not the best person to answer this, but I'm also not the worst, so I'll try my best. I struggled a lot with my mental health in university. I used to get emotionally drained frequently, long nights, whether it be crying my eyes out because I'm too stressed, I'm overwhelmed, or whatever the case may be. But once I got my rhythm going with school, like knowing, okay, I got assignments due here, let me organize my time better and things like that. Once my organization picked up, then I wasn't as overwhelmed anymore. And don't be scared to ask for help. If you feel like you're falling behind because you're overwhelmed, or maybe there's situations impacting you and stuff, don't be afraid to talk to your professors or your TAs or whatever the case may be, because sometimes they can support you. Sometimes their hands might be tied, it might be too late, it might not be fair to other students if you don't have valid reasoning. But if you come to them ahead of time, like extra ahead of time, and let them know, like, I got this going on, or I'm just a bit overwhelmed. There's even services at the schools, at different schools, where you can go and speak to someone, talk to advisors to get your stuff together, or maybe you have to drop your courses. I won't lie, personally, I was extremely overwhelmed with the amount of courses I was taking, and I had to drop a few because I couldn't handle that course load. I was trying so hard to be ahead of myself, and that just hurt me in the end. So honestly, take your time with school. There's no rush. Honestly, I don't even know anyone that's finished within 4 years. I only know maybe one or two, but most people will take their time because they realize starting out like crazy, like taking a max course load, might not be for everyone. It might overwhelm you, might stress you, it might hurt you. So work at your own pace. At the end of the day, it's your money going into your education. And this is for you in the future, right? It's not for anyone else. You should be doing your school for yourself, because this is shaping out your future, right? So it's extremely important to take everything in how you can take it. Don't force anything on yourself to please anyone else but yourself. You know what I mean? And I feel like that, me understanding that at a certain point, helped me with my mental health. It helped me like with my confidence, because then my marks weren't slipping as much, and I was doing better in school because of it, because I was taking time to care for myself and realized what was better for me. So that's all I have to say. Hopefully, like, I wish you guys luck when it comes to applying to your schools. I know it's coming soon. If you guys need help, feel free to reach out to not only myself but all the other individuals involved, and good luck.
Hey guys, my name is Nati, and I'm going to be talking about kinesiology and health sciences at York University. And the reason why I took that course is because I was very interested in being active, and I found that kinesiology was a good balance of the theory of health and being physically active in the classroom. And by taking kinesiology, in terms of careers, there are a lot of careers available to you, but you have to do more schooling. So if you just graduate with kinesiology, you can be a kinesiologist or a personal trainer, but the options as those careers are very limited. So people who take kinesiology usually go into physiotherapy, occupational therapy, pharmacy, medical school. So for me, I actually went into paramedicine. So I became a paramedic with Toronto, thankfully. And the reason why I did that is because I volunteered at Sick Kids Hospital in the pharmacy division. And I realized that it wasn't for me, not necessarily because the content was boring, but because the work environment was very slow. So being in paramedicine, where it's very fast-paced and exciting, I really enjoyed that change of pace and still applying my health knowledge. So I found that paramedicine did that for me, and going to York, going into college afterwards too, helped me get to where I am today. So what was the biggest obstacle during the program? So I think for me, the biggest obstacle was just time management, especially in second year of kinesiology, where you're being hit with a lot of dense courses. So what you'll find is the material itself is not hard, but you have to make time to go over it. And in the beginning, I'll say my first year, I didn't do too well because I would always read the night before and not really map everything out. So what I started doing in my second year is I tried to read one lecture ahead, so that way when I came to the classroom, I would kind of already know what he was talking about, and that way I could ask informed questions, right? Because it's one thing to be learning a new topic in class in that moment, as opposed to you doing your own research on the side and just asking certain areas of help that you need just clarification on. How do you take care of your mental health in school? I would say, for me, definitely try to develop positive health habits and surround yourself with people that know you. And when I say know you in terms of emotional intelligence. So, as an example, if you've been more distant than normal, if you're not acting yourself, having those people around you can kind of help you get in check. And in terms of positive health habits, I would say exercise and eating healthy, because when you exercise, you eat healthy, you fuel your mind to put itself in a more positive mindset, if that makes sense. Um, but everything in moderation, and I hope that the youth of tomorrow get value from this and they're able to take this with them to the future and so that they can pursue their dreams and their passions. Thank you from New Nakfa.